Sydney Sweeney has stirred up a lot of controversy lately, but let's separate fact from fiction. Please help us reach 1,000 subscribers and don't forget to subscribe. With all this controversy, I want to highlight the background that can help break down how this mess even started, why it's ridiculous, how critical race theory fueled the misunderstanding, and why American Eagle deserves applause for not apologizing. And I also think it's important to highlight how just until 2 weeks ago, American Eagle was all in on their woke strategy and why this shift is a lesson for other brands. On July 24th, 2025, American Eagle launched a campaign featuring Sydney Sweeney, star of Euphoria, and a bunch of other things. The slogan was, "Sydney Sweeney has great genes," a simple play on words since genes and genes, genetics, sound the same, and the ad purposefully makes emphasis on this. Sweeney says genes are passed from parents to kids, determining things like eye color, personality, blah 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 blah. My genes are blue. It's a nod to her blue eyes and the brand's genes, but social media exploded.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow.
Those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird. Would we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not.
Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi shit. Saying anybody has good genes is eugenics. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, Nazi shit.
It said they had her say genes are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My genes are blue. Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen. I hate it.
Users on X and TikTok accused the ad of promoting eugenics, a discredited pseudoscience most predominantly tied to Germany in the 1930s and 40s and a certain man with a mustache. Why was this ad accused of this? Sweeney is white, blonde, and blue-eyed, or brown-haired and green-eyed, who knows now, and some claimed talking about genes was code for white supremacy. One X post read, "A white woman saying her genes are perfect? This is, word I can't say on YouTube, propaganda." Seriously, a genes ad being propaganda for the German mustache man. Let's try to understand how this got twisted. This commercial isn't racist, it's a clothing ad with a wordplay gimmick. It's not the first time genetics has been used to highlight a model's appeal. In the 1980s, Calvin Klein's campaign with Brooke Shields had her saying,
"Life lies hidden in a genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations,"
hinting at a heritage of beauty. In the 2000s, Abercrombie & Fitch used phrases like beauty in the genes. No one cried eugenics back then, but a few years ago they did start to complain about it once they'd been taught about how it was problematic and indoctrinated about it. And countless examples of songs like will.i.am's "I Got It From My Mama" to explain a woman's attractiveness coming from her genes. Let's not also forget that a lot of women in particular who are completely outraged with this ad being tied to eugenics also support the organization Planned Parenthood, and I would strongly encourage them to research the history and origins of this organization and of its founder, Margaret Sanger, to realize they have been cheering and supporting a eugenicist's dream. So what's different now? The ideological lens. American Eagle, ironically, isn't new to this. For the past 10 years, they've gone full woke with campaigns featuring diverse models, support for the LGBTQ community, and promoting non-traditional body types. But like Victoria's Secret with its inclusive rebrand, these efforts don't boost sales. People don't want their imperfections mirrored back to them. They want to aspire to something more. Aspirational marketing, beauty, confidence, success sells better than reflecting insecurities. American Eagle seems to have learned this with Sweeney. Why was this ad misinterpreted? Enter critical race theory, or CRT, born in the 1970s in US academia. Scholars like Derek Bell and Kimberly Crenshaw argued that racism is embedded in social and legal structures, ironically borrowing from the general lens of critical theory originating in the Frankfurt School in Germany in the 1930s to expand upon Marxist theory, but today it's being taught to people, and indoctrinated people everywhere, to see racism in everything, even in a jeans ad. CRT spread to the mainstream through first the universities and its young, impressionable students, then public schools, and finally through social media. Only a few years ago, books like White Fragility, How to Be an Anti-Racist became required reading, and corporate diversity training, all without encouraging critical thinking or even realizing the damage and further division inflicted upon society. It teaches people to interpret any reference to race or genetics as oppressive, especially if it involves a white person. So Sweeney saying "my genes are blue" became a supposed white supremacist manifesto. It's a ridiculous leap, but it shows how CRT fosters division, making us see malice in everyday things and hate each other without even fully understanding why. And CRT also discourages people from even thinking further about why this might be a bad idea. CRT started as an academic critique, but in the 2010s, with movements like Black Lives Matter and social media's rise, it went mainstream without filters. By 2020, after George Floyd's ending, it became the dominant lens. American Eagle embraced this, launching campaigns with models of all races, sizes, and sexual orientations supporting causes like LGBTQ, pride, and mental health. But like Victoria's Secret, which swapped its angels for real models and saw sales drop, American Eagle's inclusive efforts were not paying off. Why? Because once again, marketing that mirrors imperfections doesn't inspire. People buy jeans to feel attractive, not to be reminded of their insecurities. Victoria's Secret tried to make a tepid return to its aspirational roots in 2023 and still floundered, and now American Eagle seems to be following suit with Sweeney and with slightly better outcomes. But the pervasive ideologies that are still brewing below the societal surface will make any ad campaign with a stereotypically attractive model, especially if she's white, problematic for no real true reason. And I also bet a lot of people, women specifically, who are outraged at this ad campaign don't fully understand why or where it's even coming from, even where they learned these things. It's just been brewing in the background by teachings that were coming either from universities or what they saw on social media or media in general. But do they really believe it? I don't know. So what's the latest? American Eagle hasn't apologized, and that's worth cheering for. A social media post from August 1st, 2025 shows the brand defending its campaign, refusing to bow down to accusations of supremacism. Their stock rose 10%, adding $200 million to their value, per Vanity Fair. Sweeney hasn't commented, letting the noise fade. There's also an alleged finding that she's a registered voter as a Republican, but if true, so what? So is at least half the country. The problem is that the other half expects everyone to think, act, and believe the same things they do. Sweeney had already had to shoulder the insane left's ire when a few years ago she was photographed at a birthday party for her mom in hats that parodied the red MAGA hat with writing that said "Make 60 great again," so she's not new to this, but the outrage continues to be as ridiculous as back then. The non-controversial campaign still up in Times Square, and the limited edition jeans actually donate 100% of profits to Crisis Text Line, a mental health nonprofit. So the free attention might even actually be helping a cause the angry leftists probably would support, but don't even donate to themselves. American Eagle learned from its woke years that aspiration trumps forced inclusion. And that's what a lot of us have been saying for years now when we say go woke, go broke. By not apologizing, they sent a message. Not everything deserves an apology, especially when criticism is overblown. This shift to aspirational marketing, like had been the norm for decades, reminds us that beauty and confidence connect more than divisive narratives. The Sydney Sweeney controversy shows how ideologies, in this case critical race theory, can twist an innocent commercial, and not just a commercial, but the mind of those who believe it wholeheartedly. It's absurd that a wordplay got labeled as mustache man propaganda. I do applaud American Eagle for standing firm and not apologizing for a nothing burger that a few people who were deeply troubled decided to take completely out of context. And before you go, we are getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, because I always love to read the comments, and share the video if you find it worthwhile. So far, so good with American Eagle. Let's hope their next ad isn't woke.